Which builds are most OP for the current meta? That's the question we'll be answering in today's video, covering the most broken builds for 13.5, 10 in total and 2 for every single role. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. For the longest time, Comet Malphite has reigned supreme and been his staple keystone. That is, until now, as Grasp Malphite with a W max is extremely broken and one of the best setups of 13.5. Thanks to the W buff from 13.4, the win rate of Grasp shot up a whole 3%. The W max skill order also improved by the same metric, which goes to show the synergy between the two. 2 seconds off W allows Malphite to take more frequent quick trades in lane, where he activates W, procs Grasp, and easily wins the short trade. By using an Iceborne Gauntlet, this improves the power of a W max even further, as the Spellblade proc from Iceborne provides an extra punch when you activate W. Even though you are building full tank, the W max with Grasp gives Malphite an incredible amount of consistent DPS power. Mal is basically a mix of a bruiser and a tank when going for this setup. Malphite has over a 54% win rate against Fiora, Yone, Jace, Irelia, Riven, and Tryndamere, who are all picked quite often right now. The complete rune page is Grasp with Shield Bash, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. Roll with Mana Flow and Transcendence for secondaries. One of the most OP 2-item cores in the game right now is Ravenous Hydra with Eclipse, and Riven is its best user. This 2-item core blows everything else out of the water, as it's winning 6% more than the second most popular Gore Drinker into Cleaver Riven build. You just have so much raw damage from this setup, as the AD you can acquire from Ravenous is nuts, while Eclipse adds to that even further. Eclipse having its shield cooldown reduced is amazing for Riven as well, because it's going to be perma up whenever her combo is off cooldown. So not only do you have immense damage potential, but the shield from Eclipse along with Riven's E provides her with a sneaky amount of durability. Riven Q and W combined with the Ravenous Cleave passive allows you to practically one-shot waves. Since Riven's passive was just buffed and she deals more damage to towers, playing this stronger split push build has a lot more merit now. In regards to the rune page, it's standard stuff with Conquer as the keystone along with Sorcery for secondaries, running Nimbus Cloak and Transcendence. Black Cleaver as a rush item has become viable on a few different champions after its buffs, and Vi is absolutely insane with it. Vi players rushing Black Cleaver are winning about 2% more than those going Divine Sunderer. This core build doesn't even involve Sunderer either, as you are prioritizing Radiant Virtue as your mythic item. This 2-item spike is all about maximizing pick power from Vi's ultimate. When Vi dives in, she empowers herself due to the Radiant passive and shreds the enemy's armor with the Black Cleaver passive, so her team can follow up and take them out easier. 50 ability haste is also a massive benefit to this build, as it drastically lowers the cooldown of Vi's ultimate, so she can constantly be looking for picks. Radiant Virtue and Black Cleaver are simply 2 of the most OP items in the game right now, so the fact that Vi can abuse both makes this build extremely powerful. The rune page to run consists of Conquer with Triumph Tenacity and Coup de Grace, grab Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. This build alone has single-handedly brought Hecarim's overall win rate up a whole 2% over the past few patches, and it revolves around the Black Cleaver rush. Back in 13.1, the most common Hecarim build was Spear of Shojin into Manamune, but at this time, his win rate was 48%. Fast forward to 13.5, and the most popular build is a Black Cleaver rush into Manamune and Radiant Virtue, with Hecarim hovering around a 50% win rate. Hecarim as a champion may not be the most OP jungler, but this build is without a doubt super strong, and the reason he's no longer a bottom-dwelling pick. The build simply has a little bit of everything you'd want in an optimal bruiser setup. Cleaver and Manamune offer strong DPS power and allows you to snowball quite well throughout the early to mid game. Radiant Virtue is the perfect third item as you transition into late game teamfights, as it provides you with some added durability to thrive in 5v5s. Optimal rune page for Hecarim consists of Phase Rush as the keystone, with Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and Water Walking. Instead of Domination secondary, Inspiration is being heavily slept on, with Futures Market and Cosmic Insight being the pickups. One of the biggest winners coming out of 13.5 is Vladimir, and it's all thanks to the Cosmic Drive buffs. Ability power on Cosmic Drive is being increased from 65 to 90, however the health is being completely removed. The reason this change benefits Vladimir more than any other champion is due to how his passive works. Vlad converts ability power into health, so even though you're losing some flat health from the item, the AP increase on Cosmic helps to make up for that. As a champion who loves ability haste and ability power, Cosmic Drive is the perfect rush item for Vladimir in 13.5. The one downside to building Cosmic in previous patches is that it didn't have nearly as much flat ability power as other options like Night Harvester and Rabadon's. Now that Cosmic will have the same amount of AP as Night Harvester, it becomes a much better first option. When you take into account the Cosmic Drive passive, the item will now offer a total of 130 AP when the passive is proc. The Q spam will be absolutely nuts, and the power spike at level 9 with Cosmic Drive completed will be one of the most disgusting spikes in the game. All the movement speed that Cosmic Drive provides means Phase Rush is less vital of a rune for Vlad. You can opt for Airy instead to amplify poke power in lane. A build that really should not exist, but is the highest win rate core build for Katarina, consists of Divine Sunderer with Wit's End. It honestly gets even more disgusting though, as you slot in a Randuin's Omen as your third purchase. For a champion that is supposed to be an assassin, this build provides a good amount of damage and durability, which completely takes away from the main weaknesses of assassins. Cat is supposed to be a champ that can burst super well, but is more vulnerable in doing so because she doesn't have defensive items. With this build, you're literally defying those odds, and basically playing Cat more like a bruiser than an assassin. Is bruiser even the right word though? Because you're building Randuin, so it's basically a bruiser tank mix. The build has yet to really make its way over to the western regions, but it's being picked a ton over in Korea. Since this setup is more about the consistent DPS power than raw burst, you want to be running Conqueror as the keystone instead of Electrocute. One of the most broken builds that the majority of players are still sleeping on is Bloodthirster Rush Draven. It's not just Bloodthirster that makes this setup so strong though, it's the combination of Bloodthirster and Overheal. Both were buffed in previous patches, and they offer so much durability in tandem with each other. It's almost like you're playing a pseudo-tank ADC, and with Draven being a champion that wants to be hyper aggro throughout the early game, the synergy is second to none. For the complete 3-item core, it's Bloodthirster followed by Infinity Edge second and Kraken Slayer third. Lethal Tempo is the keystone rune to provide some much needed attack speed that you are lacking from the first two items. Remember to grab Overheal along with Bloodline as well to maximize the power of a Bloodthirster rush. We all know how strong Xayah, Gangplank, and Sivir are with Quick Blades, but the champion winning the most with the item and flying under the radar is Tristana. You wouldn't initially think of Tristana as the perfect Quick Blades champion, but when you break it down, it really makes sense. Trist is a champion that can play very aggressive due to her burst power and mobility from W. By building Quick Blades, you're getting a lot more flat AD as opposed to something like Phantom Dancer. The tipping point though, and reason to why Quick Blades is superior to Infinity Edge, is due to its passive. Quick Blade's passive, reducing the cooldown of basic abilities, means that Tristana Q is permanently up. This helps to lessen the blow of not building Phantom Dancer, and in exchange gives Tristana much more upfront burst. To top it all off, you can build Bloodthirster to round out the 3-item core. As a champion whose range scales with levels, it has a long range mobility spell and can tack on a massive shield. Good luck taking down Tristana when she reaches 3 items. Another adjustment you make to the setup to lessen the blow of not building Phantom Dancer includes running Lethal Tempo instead of Hail of Blades. This way you have much stronger consistent DPS power throughout a drawn out fight. One of the most OP support builds to abuse for 13.5 is being played on one of the best supports, being Annie. Shirelia's in combination with Rylai's is such a potent 2-item core for Annie support. Shirelia's is amazing because the burst of movement speed from its passive helps Annie find engage plays due to her lack of a gap closer. After you close the gap on the enemy and throw down a Tibbers stun, the Rylai's clocks in and begins slowing the enemy. This build allows you to not only reach your opponents easily, but once you're on them, it's very difficult for them to escape. The utility is extremely powerful, but at the same time, you've got a solid amount of damage as well to burst out squishy targets on your own. The rune page to run consists of Airy as the keystone with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Taste of Blood and Relentless Hunter are great for secondaries. Another champion that will be loving the direction Cosmic Drive is headed for 13.5 is Zilean. Cosmic is a really great second pickup on Zilean, and with more ability power being tacked onto the item, the carry power of support Zil rises. By rushing Shirelia's, you have the peel power from its passive along with Zilean E to stay very safe at all times. Although losing out on some health from Cosmic Drive sucks, it really shouldn't matter due to how shifty Zilean can be. On your 2-item completion, you'll have access to 50 ability haste from items and tack on another 10 from Transcendence, 60 haste at your 2-item core, and you'll be spamming out speed boosts like there's no tomorrow. With ADC being in such a great spot right now, Zilean can offer so much in mid-game teamfights, and Cosmic Drive will further enhance that. Good luck getting on a Draven with Bloodthirster, who has a Zilean slapping on perma speed boosts and a revive to go along with it. The rune page to run on Zilean is Airy with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Water Walking. Cheap Shot and Relentless Hunter are the optimal secondaries. Alright guys, before we wrap this this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So that's going to wrap it all up for this one. There are 10 of the most OP builds to abuse for patch 13.5. Thank you all so much for watching. Good luck on the Rift, and we'll see you in the next one.